Hello everyone, I am Professor Anis Vora and I welcome you all in this video lecture. In this video lecture, let us study about electric welding. First, let us understand what exactly we mean by welding. Welding is a process of joining two pieces of same metal by heating to a melting point, by filling of gap inside the joint by filler metal with or without applying external pressure. We have different types of electric welding: resistance welding, arc welding, and beam welding. We have certain advantage of electric welding, like the process is very fast. When we apply electric welding, the process is very fast. At the same time, the process of welding is highly accurate and the joints are reliable. The quality of welding is always better when we apply electric welding. Suitable for mass production because the process is very fast, it is suitable for mass production. Because there is no pollution, the process is neat and clean, pollution free. No skilled worker is required to maintain the process. No specific workplace is required. At anywhere, at site, at construction site, at fabrication site, we can apply electric welding. Metal composition is maintained. The welding is homogeneous and uniform, and the process of welding is economic. Now we start with resistance welding. First we understand the principle of resistance welding and then different types and application of resistance welding. First, let us understand the principle behind the resistance welding. By passing high electric current, heat is produced near the joint till it melts, and it is known as a heat affected area or heat affected zone, or sometimes we call it a welding zone. Then pressure is applied and we allow to cool down, and then it creates the joint. That is the principle we apply for resistance type of welding. Heat produced, H, that is exactly equal to the I square R, that is I square R losses, and total amount of heat, that is I square R T, where I is current in amperes, R is resistance of joint in ohm, and T, that is duration of passing current in second. Resistance R depends on type of metal. Welding time depends on thickness of the object. Normally current is very high, and that is in the range of 2000 to 10,000 amperes. At the same time, voltage level is very low, and mostly it is a 2 to 20 volt. When we apply pressure, that is depend on the size of the object, but normally it is 100 to 300 kilogram per centimeter square. Now let us study different types of resistance welding and its application. The first very popular type of resistance welding, that is butt welding, and the application of butt welding, that is to weld strips, rods, pipes, wire of non-ferrous metals, to weld copper or aluminum winding wires or transformer. Used in automobile industries to weld main body, axle, frame, etc. These are some of the application of butt welding. And here we can see one butt joint. We have two plate of metal, that is the parent metal at this side and at this side, and in between we have weld zone, and the joint is known as a butt joint. The next is spot welding, and the application of spot welding, that is the manufacturing of sheet metal frame boxes used in automobile industries to weld sheet metal bodyworks, air and waterproof construction of sheet. And this is a spot welding. Process of spot welding is identified in the figure. We have two sheet metals, and at this spot we are applying spot welding to join the sheet metals. We have copper electrodes and pressures are applied to the electrodes, as well as the electric supply is also applied to the electrodes. The next is projection welding. The application of projection welding, that is a thin sheet metal welding like oil and milk container, two sheet of different thickness. Then we have to go for projection welding. For welding of punched, formed, stamped metal parts. And this is how projection welding looks like. We have electrodes on both the side, base metal and embossed points. We apply the force as and when required. The next is seam welding. The application of seam welding, that is in dairy industries, for making containers, to make leak-proof tank like transformer tank, gasoline tank, etc. To join various aircraft parts, we use seam welding. Thin sheet metal containers also welded with the seam welding. And this is how we can have a seam welding. We use seam welding wheels for continuous welding. This is the object or the job, and we pass the job through the wheels. And the next is percussion welding. To weld copper tips to aluminum or stainless steels. To weld silver contact tips to copper for contacts of circuit breaker or contactors. And this is how the percussion welding looks like. We apply electric supply and we have workpiece. So this is all about resistance type of welding. We have studied different types of resistance welding and its application. Thank you very much for watching my video. Keep watching. Thank you very much.